my name is Bianca Kelly and this video will be used for the Diploma of Nutrition Non-Clinical Advisor. The time is now 12:45 on the 7th of October. This film is being conducted at my house of residence with the permission of the clients, and all clients have provided their consent to release the video for the purposes of this assessment. I have also provided the form for them and they have signed and agreed to the terms and conditions. Okay, so as this is my first consultation with clients, I have researched all information based on the Australian Dietary Guidelines, and I have taken the time to understand and assess all of the client session plans in reference to their session goals and requirements. I have also considered and respected every client for their session objective, and I understand that every client has different needs and different ways of progressing through their session goals. So I have taken the time to understand their profile and to make sure that they're comfortable with the purpose of this assessment. I will also explain safe hygiene through this purpose to ensure that clients are aware that their hands must be at all times clean during the purpose of this assessment, and to ensure that everyone is hygienic, to ensure that no germs are spread as well. Thank you for your time. I would like to welcome my first client, Catherine Ducker, to the consultation today. Thank you so much for your time, Catherine.
You're welcome.
So just to give you some background about my role as a nutritional advisor, I am only qualified to provide advice in a non-clinical role in support of other nutritionists, health professionals and specialists. So the main areas I will cover in this session plan today will be promoting the importance of health, eating in accordance with the Australian Dietary Guidelines, to identify and evaluate the risks of any medical concerns mentioned, and to assist in understanding the risks of any medical concerns. Also understanding the importance of adequate nutrition and appropriately referring you to the right medical and allied health professionals if you do require advice that is out of my scope of field. So let's begin by confirming some of your details. Thank you for providing the pre-screening tool. So in reference to the pre-screening tool that you've provided, Kat, just confirming you are 27 years of age?
Yeah.
Fantastic. In regards to your fitness levels, you have stated here you're not very active, you rarely drink, you do have insulin resistance. Last needed medication in December 2016 to assist with insulin resistance. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Sure. Your family history regards to medical, your dad has diabetes and heart disease. So growing up, you never ate much and always was fed a pretty well balanced diet with special treats after school and on weekends. Can you confirm what sort of treats they were normally?
I mean, you know, we'd go to the local shops and maybe get a milkshake.
Sure.
Or I don't know, a chocolate.
Of course, yeah. As you're younger, I suppose that's quite normal.
Yeah.
Of course. You also have confirmed here that you started gaining some weight from about age 8, but the doctors couldn't work out why until you were 13 years of age when diagnosed with the insulin resistance. So you lost about 15 kilos in roughly a 2 to 3 month period when 16 years of age due to not eating. You've mentioned you were 90 down to 75 kilograms, so that is quite a significant weight loss in that period. Now in regards to your BMI, just focusing on that to explain, with BMIs here, it is important to confirm with the client to assist with healthy eating changes. The BMIs are used to determine an approximate measure of anyone's body fat. So it is very important for anyone with health conditions if under or overweight, as there are more risks of developing cardiovascular, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes as the main concern. So with your BMI, you have provided your height is 163 centimetres and your weight currently is 103 kilograms. Now in regards to your BMI, I have done some research. So at present your BMI falls in 39.2, which does fall in the obese bracket based on the Heart Foundation calculator. So this is just recommended on the Heart Foundation recommendation. So Excuse me. Suggested healthy weight, according to the Heart Foundation, is 46.6 to 65.3 kilograms with no strenuous activity. Obviously, everyone has different shapes of body sizes, and based on your insulin resistance as well, this would be taken into consideration with your GP's recommendations as well. So your daily energy requirements, based on the Eat for Food website, is 11,791 kilojoules. So that is really important to ensure that you're getting the adequate amount of nutrition values during the day to keep your energy at the right level. I also referred to the National Heart and Lung Blood Institute website for some extra information about insulin resistance, as I was not very familiar with that medical issue being out of my scope of field. So I did do a bit of research on that for you as well. Okay, Kat, so thank you so much for your time. Before we start going through the questions, can I offer you a glass of water?
Yes, please.
No worries. It's always good to have the right amount of water during the day.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so to begin our pre-screening tool, I'm just going to go through some of the information that you have provided me. So just to confirm, you are 27 years of age?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, now in regards to your fitness level, you have stated here that you're not very active, you rarely drink. Can you confirm how many drinks roughly you would have?
I mean, I don't even drink every week.
Sure.
It's how many drinks? I don't know.
On a month's average,
Month's
or every couple of
average.
months?
Let's say 4 or 5 in a month.
5 in a month max, not a problem. That's really good. Okay, fantastic. So in regards to your current medical conditions, you have confirmed that you do have insulin resistance, and you last needed medication in December 2016 to assist with the insulin resistance. Your family medical history, you have stated that your dad has diabetes and heart disease. So growing up, you never ate much and was always fed a pretty balanced diet with special treats after school or on weekends, such as milkshakes. You stated that you started gaining some weight from about age 8, but the doctors couldn't work until why you were about 13 years of age when diagnosed with insulin resistance, so it has been quite a long time for you from the sounds of it. You've mentioned that you lost about 15 kilograms in roughly a 2 to 3 month period when you were 16 years of age due to not eating, and you were down to 75 kilograms from 90, so you obviously did lose quite a significant amount of weight. So I can understand that would have been a very hard period for you. Now in regards to the BMI, I just need to mention it is very important to explain to clients what the BMI is. So the purpose of the BMI is to assist with healthy eating changes. The BMIs are used to determine an approximate measure of anyone's total body fat. It is very important for anyone with health conditions if under or overweight, as there are more risks of developing cardiovascular, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes as more common. So based on the BMI details that you have provided here, and thank you so much for your information that you have provided, just to confirm, your height is 163 centimetres. Fantastic. Now your current weight being 103 kilograms, based on the BMI, this is in accordance to the Heart Foundation BMI calculator. I have conducted some research here for you. So your current BMI is 39.2, which falls in the obese bracket based on the Heart Foundation BMI calculator. Now, as suggested healthy weight, that's just a recommendation on the Heart Foundation, which is falling in the 46.6 to 65.3 kilograms with no strenuous activity, based on the routine that you currently have. Now, because of your condition having the insulin resistance, I think it is important for that to be properly assessed from your GP. because you have had that for quite some time. So obviously your GP will recommend you with the appropriate weight that you should be following in accordance with the nutritional plans. So just wanted to mention that is very important to have that advice from the GP. Now, as your daily energy requirements, in accordance to the Eat for Health Gov website, this calculates at 11,791 kilojoules. So basically, based on your height and your age as well, with no strenuous activity, this is saying that you need the right amount of nutritional value to keep you going through the day, to provide the right energy, basically. Yeah. Now, I did refer to the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute website as well, because I don't have much knowledge on insulin resistance, so that was actually a bit out of my scope of field. So for my own reference, I did need to do some research to understand what is involved and how insulin resistance is caused as a medical issue. So yes, I did take some time to look into that for you, but as mentioned before, it would be very important for you to see your GP for a consultation to get further advice from that field.
Yep.
Okay, so BMI has been discussed. Do you have any questions about the BMI in particular?
No, probably not at this point.
No worries. Okay. Now, in regards to, just going on to your goals here, so let's look at your session goals. So you have mentioned that you'd like to cut out the junk food and the minimal amount, which is a very good goal to start. Now, long term, to lose about 30 kilograms, you have mentioned in 18 months. I can't confirm if that's an ideal time frame, but in consultation with your doctor, I think that it would be very important for you to get that advice to ensure that you do have the right amount of time. But that is definitely a very good goal. That's a realistic goal, and I think it's important to acknowledge that, so thank you for sharing that. Also, you've mentioned session goal is to eat more vegetables, which I think is very important for a lot of clients in this day and age. So we will focus on more key messages to discuss the vegetables and the nutritional value that will hopefully assist your diet plan. Okay, so that will be part of your session goal. Now, for your session objectives, excuse me, dry throat. Okay, so you have mentioned here that you would like to lose some weight and to feel more energetic. In regards to feeling more energetic, can you explain how you're currently feeling on a normal day in regards to waking up? What's your normal sleeping routine and how it makes you feel during the day, basically?
I think at the moment I don't have a normal sleeping routine because I'm on night shift 4 nights a week.
Sure.
So I have to actually make sure I'm awake at certain times to provide assistance.
Of course.
But I mean, waking up, I think I usually feel like there's somewhat some energy.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So what are your current working shifts at present? Are they different times spread over the week, or are they normally set times?
Yeah, so they do vary.
Yeah.
My night shifts are the same time on those 4 nights that I do them, but the day shifts spread sort of, I don't know, between 9 a.m. and 5:30.
Right, yeah, so very late, early starts. Okay. So I guess that would be affecting your sleeping pattern and the energy levels for you to have the right amount to keep you going during the day. Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. Okay, so definitely getting more energy levels, I think, will definitely assist your session objective here. Okay, now just going on to your food diary goals. Okay, so you have mentioned that your brief food diary consists of 1 glass of lemonade, 1 Red Bull, but not every day, obviously to give you some energy when you do have those tired moments. About 4 glasses of water, which is not too bad. You've advised that you have 1 coffee with full cream milk. Can you confirm if you have any sugar with that? And how many?
Maybe 1 to 2 sugars,
1
depends.
to 2 depending, yeah. Okay, 1 to 2, and just small teaspoons.
Yep.
Yep, sure. Sugar. And would that be white or raw sugar?
Raw sugar.
Raw sugar. Okay, so in regards to other treats here, you have mentioned McDonald's maybe once a week for dinner or lunch. Domino's sometimes once a week for dinner only. Your typical breakfast, a bowl of cereal with Sultana bran with one small tub of 175 grams Yoplait vanilla yogurt and a spoonful of pears with Goulburn Belly. Which actually isn't too bad, that brand. Sometimes 1 banana. So just confirming with your cereal, what sort of milk, and do you add any other ingredients with that?
I don't add in milk.
No milk?
'Cause I don't actually like milk.
Sure, okay, no worries. So just confirming no milk with your bowl of cereal, just the yogurt. Yep, yeah, no problem. Okay, and would that be your normal cereal that you have every morning?
Yep.
Okay. In regards to the serving size of your cereal, just confirming how much of the pears would you add into that, roughly?
Depends how big they are, because
Yeah.
they can tend to be different sizes.
Of course.
Probably they cut into like quarters or eighths, whatever they cut into.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
So 5 pieces max, yeah, not a problem. And that's generally a normal serving size, that's quite good. 5 pieces, okay. Fantastic. Now for lunch, you have mentioned here that sometimes this consists of 2-minute noodles or something easy like a chicken wrap. Now with your noodles, do you normally add something with your noodles, or is it generally just on its own?
Just whatever comes in the packet.
Yeah.
I don't like the little vegetable things.
Yeah, sure.
I find them weird.
So minus the vegetable sachet, yep.
Yeah. So the flavouring and
Not a problem. And how would you generally cook that? Excuse me, with hot water, or would you cook that on the stove?
I like to buy those ones in the cup. So you just pour the water in.
Yeah, sure.
Just,
Yeah, definitely. No
just
worries.
cleaning up.
Definitely. Okay, fantastic. And with your chicken wrap, would you add some salads to that sometimes, or is it just the chicken wrap on its own generally?
Yeah, with salads.
Salad, fantastic. And what sort of salad would you have?
Lettuce, tomato,
Lettuce, tomato,
cucumber.
fantastic.
Something like that.
No worries. And just generally small portions to add on top.
Yeah.
Sure. Would you add any salt, pepper, sauces?
Occasionally, maybe a little bit of mayonnaise.
Yep, no worries. Thank you. Now for dinner, you have mentioned that you do enjoy a good vegan lasagna, which is fantastic. I'm sure that has plenty of vegetables. How often would you have a vegan lasagna, and what sort of vegetables would you have with that?
Maybe once a month.
Once a month, yep. No worries. And what sort of vegetables?
Pumpkin,
Yep.
zucchini, capsicum.
Yep.
Good question. What goes into it?
So many ingredients.
Whole lot.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot of nutritional value with that one, which is great. Fantastic. And I was also just reading down here that you do live with 2 other housemates, and one of your housemates is vegan, which I'm sure you would get a lot of advice from vegetable intakes, which is fantastic. Okay, so now you mentioned here that the meal times vary. You have mentioned that before regarding your work hours, which are always different, and that you have just started night shifts, which is making you feel more tired. Do you feel that your routine is not as structured as before in some way?
Yeah, in some way. So before, maybe I'd go to bed by a certain time, make sure I get sort of, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Sure.
Wake up and go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
But now it's, I'm working all night and then I come home and maybe I'll try and get a little bit of sleep.
Yeah.
And then go do some day shifts and then.
Yeah, so you're not really making the time much to have a decent meal during that period?
Not really.
Yeah. Would you still have breakfast in the morning?
Yeah, I still try to do
Fantastic.
that.
So you would stick to a breakfast routine? Yep. No worries. Are there any times that you would skip meals because of work?
No.
No. No worries. And what about snacking? Do you snack much during the day?
I try to, so I'm not really, really hungry
Yeah.
when it comes to maybe a main meal, like
Yeah.
a dinner.
Sure.
Then I'm not eating with my eyes and
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
going to eat a bit less.
Yeah, no worries, so that's good. Okay, so going on to current eating habits. So we have just discussed the food diary goal, so thank you for that. Now, I would just like to mention, I have my laptop here for your reference. I'm referring to the Eat for Health website. Have you heard about the eatforhealth.gov.au before?
No, I haven't.
Fantastic. Well, this is a really good website. I like to refer this to all new clients. This is based on the Australian Dietary Guidelines. So I'm just going to show you a section here that focuses on the tips for eating well. It does have a lot of good strategies here. So obviously it focuses on eating regularly, essential for weight control and especially weight loss, to recognise how much your body needs of the energy intake basically. Also not skipping breakfast, which is not a problem for you because obviously you have that routine, which is fantastic. Another good strategy as well, I didn't mention before, when you eat your meals, do you generally eat your meals in front of the TV or in a quiet space?
I mean, growing up, it was always come and sit at the table.
Yes.
So that's just what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I just sit at the table.
Sit at table, fantastic, yeah. Because sometimes the TV does obviously become a distraction. So that's good. Now, there's also some other great tips on here. So choose your nutritionist food. So if you're not too sure what foods to choose for your meal planning, this is obviously a great website to refer to. And if you're trying to eat healthy on a budget as well, there's so many great tips there as well. So I would very strongly recommend for you to have a look at this in your spare time. And everything has been checked in accordance with the Australian Dietary Guidelines as well. Fantastic. So just moving on to your current eating habits, which you did discuss a bit earlier. We have discussed the websites. Now also how to understand the food labels. That is very important. A lot of people don't understand how to read nutritional labels when shopping. So just to give you an idea, if you refer to the guidelines, eating well, how to understand food labels, and everything is very easy to follow on here as well, which I think is really, really good. Nutritional information panel, which is really important. So just to give you some good tips, when you do look at food products in the shopping centre, if you look at the Health Star rating, which is the HSR system, the higher stars on the label, the more nutritional intake, which is really, really important. So a 3.5 out of 5 stars isn't too bad compared to a 2 out of 5 star rating, depending on what the food is, obviously. Now for the ingredients list as well, as you know, a lot of different food products have high intake of sodium, high intake of sugar and high intake of fat. So it's really important to have a good moderation of that. Now just to give you an idea, there are some informations here. So all ingredients of food products must be listed on the label in order and what they mean. So if you're not too sure what they mean, there is actually further information on here that you can do in your free time. And there's also some examples there as well. So to give you an idea, here's an example. How to understand the food labels. So nutritional information, for example, you know, your yogurt for breakfast, for example. If you look at the contents here, it will have the sugar per serve. For example, 3.5, that's per serving, and per 100, obviously that's going to be the bigger amount. So it's important for you to look at per serving to make sure you're getting the adequate amount of nutritional value. That obviously is important as well, but it's very important to look at the sodium. A lot of people don't realise that high sodium does also affect a lot of weight problems as well. So, you know, there's various different information here that will assist anyone with the nutritional value of the energy requirements that they need, basically. So I'll leave that for you for now. Fantastic. So we've covered the food labels. Now, in regards to your dislikes of lifestyle and cooking, just referring to the key messages that you have discussed here. So at present, you have advised that you don't have a cooking routine, which I think is a really good key message to discuss in you know, your busy lifestyle. It is very hard for a lot of people to have that cooking routine. Excuse me. So you do enjoy eating a lot of vegetables, which is fantastic that you love eating vegetables. Probably more consumption of meat actually, which I think is really good, because a lot of vegetables do have a lot of vitamins and nutritional intake that your body needs. And you have mentioned before that you do eat a lot of vegetables with different lasagnas, and you have salads on your wraps as well for lunch. Okay, so you dislike seafood, and you have advised that you will not eat this food source, which is very understanding. Everyone has different needs and requirements. You do enjoy eating a more healthy meal, which I think is really, really good. Something, you know, to make you feel more energetic. So obviously, you know, you don't want to feel less energetic and tired after work, so you want something to give you that energy intake. Okay, also feeling more tired and lethargic after work, which we did discuss. And I think it's important to mention that by providing the right vegetables and other sources of food, such as fruits and legumes such as beans, and anything to give you protein is going to be really beneficial for your diet. Not getting enough iron in current diet, I think, is a big problem for a lot of people, because if you don't have enough iron in your diet, it's going to make you more tired. So we will look at some strategies for that soon. Needing advice on healthy meal prepping, which I think is really, really important. So in regards to meal prepping, you have to find what works for you and based on your current busy lifestyle. So there are also some good tips on the Eat for Health website here. So if you're not too sure of meal plans, for example, depending on what foods that you enjoy, there is actually Eating Well, some healthy recipes, which I think would be fantastic for you to have a look at. For example, you know, simple vegetarian recipes, barbecue vegetables. You know, there's lots of different options here, which is great. It also mentions steps on how to work out how much to eat from a recipe as well. So if you're not too sure on portion sizes and things like that. So I'll leave that for you to have a look at. So not getting enough iron. You've mentioned that you live with a vegan and meals are normally cooked as a housemate gathering is scheduled once a month, which I think is fantastic. I think it's really good to have family meals with the people that you live with, to introduce new foods and to experience that healthy eating habit. And it's also good for other people that you live with to encourage healthy habits as well, which I think is really good. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so now just moving down to discuss dislikes and lifestyles, revisiting your goals for this session, and then I will go on the information that I can provide you. So just going back to your session goals, so I think cutting out junk foods in minimal amount is very achievable. It is hard for a lot of people. When takeaway is involved, it does become a habit, as you would know. But I think you just need to find a good routine for you. So I think it's very important to treat yourself. Everyone needs to treat themselves, you know, at least once a month, or whatever works for you to celebrate that, you know, you are eating healthy and you're enjoying that lifestyle basically. Long term, to lose about 30 kilograms, as we discussed, should definitely speak to that with your doctor, with his recommendation and advice, as that is out of my scope of field. So definitely book in with your GP as soon as you can to discuss that, and to eat more vegetables. I think you're definitely on the right track, Catherine, to implement more vegetables in your diet, which is really going to help you with the nutritional intake that you need. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, we've discussed the goals, session objectives, also losing weight and to feel more energetic. This is definitely achievable when different foods are going to be implemented into your diet. Okay, so moving down, I have done some research, and I have got some recommendations based on my skills and information that I can advise you. So basically, now with your, insulin resistance, as you would know, the body uses glucose for energy, and if it is not getting enough, that will make you feel more tired, obviously. So in this situation, obviously it's very important that you need to get your cholesterol levels checked before any changes are made to your current diet. So as discussed before, definitely book in with your GP, and then we can go further from here to actually start a proper diet plan. Depending on what your GP advises, he might suggest that you speak to a dietitian. If that's the case, that's fantastic. Then your dietitian will provide you with a more of a scheduled meal routine. But what I'm going to do now is to provide you with some nutritional advice, which I think is really important, and just confirming that this is obviously going to be consulted with your doctor to ensure that you're going to be on a safe diet. So yeah, so just have a think about it with your doctor. You know, I think what you're doing now is fantastic. If there's any big changes in anyone's diet, it's just going to be very hard to change that. So if you have any questions during the process of this, please feel free to stop me, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I advise that eating a junk food is making you feel more tired, and consuming too much sugar intake as well, which is making it hard. So depending on what time you eat during the day, if you eat at night time, the sugar levels might be keeping you awake as well. Are there any times at night time where you do feel like snacking? Roughly like before you go to bed, or?
There's no particular time.
Yeah, depending on the hours.
Yeah,
of course. Okay, now I advise that the eating plan, so for your eating plan, actually, for any women to lose weight safely, it is recommended as part of the Eat for Health strategy here that an eating plan that contains 1,200 to 1,500 calories each day is really good for women to control portion sizes and to limit saturated trans fat and sodium with added sugars. So that is a recommended intake of calories. Now, levels that rise after eating as part of your insulin resistance and to maintain good sugar levels, snacking would be a really good healthy approach to follow a low calorie diet. So with your current lifestyle at the moment, I'm sure it's very hard for you to make the time, but for snacking, for example, small portions of nuts are a really good source of energy as well, and obviously making sure that you have the right amount to keep you going. Do you eat much fruit during the day, Catherine, or?
No, at the moment.
Not at the moment.
I actually really like it and don't eat enough.
Not enough, yeah, not a problem. We can definitely talk about that soon. Now, I showed you the recommended eating plan as research on the National Heart, Lung and Blood Institute website recommended. So I did get some information about the insulin resistance. To assist with your meal prepping and goal planning, just to advise here, so I think it is really important to set out times for meals to schedule during your daily routine. So then it will become a habit. So to make it a habit, so at the moment you're working different shifts, which is very hard. And if this is practiced more regularly, so for example, breakfast at the same time. So if you normally have breakfast at say 7, or what would be the latest time you would have breakfast in the morning, roughly?
Yeah, 7:30.
7:30, yeah. So I think that would be a more ideal time to make that more of a habit. And lunch time, you know, to keep it consistent, to keep a couple of hours after breakfast, to make sure that your body is getting used to that habit. So for example, you could be having lunch from 12 to 2 p.m. And then if on night shifts, to ensure more snacking and water is consumed with obviously plenty of rest, at least 7 hours of sleeping with that as well. Now with your insulin levels to maintain at a normal level, as you would be aware, based on that information, I think it's really important to avoid highly processed foods, including breads, pastas, rice, some soft drink, or a lot of soft drink, as they don't digest quickly, and this actually increases the blood sugar levels. Therefore, takeaway should be cut down to at least once a month as a reward for a healthier option. Now, as discussed as well, based on weight goal for your doctor's advice, I think that's really, really important to get the right recommendation from him first. Now, to assist with your energy, I think it would be really ideal to start with 10 minutes of walking every day. That's a general recommendation as part of the Eat for Health for anyone who's wanting energy, who's wanting to lose weight, just to have a healthier lifestyle. And this will actually promote a healthy start in change of routine as well. You know, even just walking up and down the stairs at home is fantastic. You know, that's going to burn off calories as well. So you know, even walking outside, and this might also distract craving as a distraction. I know some people, especially when studying, they do tend to snack a lot. So you know, if you ever feel like you need a break, even sitting outside sometimes to get some vitamin D is a really good source of energy. Okay, so now with your water intake, you mentioned earlier you have 4 glasses of water a day, which is not too bad. The healthy recommendation intake for females is at least 8 glasses. So, you know, you're about 4 glasses short. So I would definitely encourage you to sip on water before and after meals to keep you feeling fuller. So if you do have any cravings, to start to drink a glass of water. So for example, now I'm a little bit thirsty. So, you know, if you do feel the urge to have a snack, just sip on the water. Excuse me. Okay, so, and then to wait to digest food for at least 30 minutes. So that's normally the general guideline before any other food is consumed. Okay, so in regards to the dietary guidelines, this should definitely be considered as a recommendation to ensure that the right amounts of vitamins are sourced. This is also based on the Eat for Health website. Excuse me. So therefore, 2 serves of fruit per day is about 150 grams, which is 1 medium fruit, for example 1 apple or banana. 6 serves of grains per day is about 500 kilojoules. 2.5 serves of lean meat, including eggs, tofu, nuts and seeds, is 500 to 600 kilojoules. And also 2.5 serves of milk and dairy is also 500 to 600 kilojoules per day. So before any changes are introduced to your meal routine, as mentioned before, obviously to speak to your doctor first. That's very important to get the right advice on where you should go from now. But I think it's also important to keep track of the progress, such as the phone app. Do you use your phone a lot for different applications? Mm-hmm. Fantastic, that's great. I think in this day and age, it's really important to keep track of, you know, what you're eating and what time you're eating. Also, you know, any any time that you're walking and what you're doing to keep active basically. And because you're busy as well, this will also record this as a tracker to assist with your weight loss goal, which I think will be really, really good. So that's fantastic. There's so many apps out there. You know, I could recommend a few to you, but I think it's best if you do the research to find what works for you. Okay, so now in regards to the dietitian, I did mention before briefly, I really do strongly feel that a dietitian could assist you to make the right choices for a diet plan that is streamlined on your requirements and goals that you have provided me. So in regards to the recommendation to introduce more healthy options to a cooking plan, I have looked at different food sources here for you. Now, you have mentioned that you do love vegetables, which is fantastic. A lot of people, you know, don't really enjoy the taste. So the fact that you do love vegetables, you're up to a really good start, which is fantastic. Now, for your medical condition, having insulin resistance, I have highlighted the importance here because it is very important for your goal to ensure that you're having the right adequate amount of energy and the right sources of food as well to keep you going. So any vegetables that are low in calories, high in fibre, the best options are actually fresh, low sodium, canned and frozen vegetables such as tomatoes, which you already have, spinach, which is really, really good, and it's also good for females during menstrual cycles as well to ensure they have the right energy intake. Coloured capsicums, greens such as collard, kale, broccoli, cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. Now with your fruit intake, you did mention that you don't have much fruit at the moment, which is fine, but introducing fruits higher in fibre such as apples, berries, bananas, which you do have with your cereal sometimes, grapes, plums and peaches, which you do actually have with your cereal, so that's a good start. But to avoid any fruit juices, as they do and they can raise blood sugar very quickly, just like soft drink. Now with your dairy, the better options based on the information provided, so fat-free, low-fat or no-fat unsweetened milk and yogurt. Now with the milk, you mentioned you don't have milk in your cereal. Would you have any milk during the day, or you just don't like the taste?
No, I don't like the taste of milk.
Don't like the taste, not a problem. Okay, I was actually going to suggest if you do have milk, you mentioned you do have some full cream milk in your coffee, depending.
Those
little sachets. Yeah.
Whatever.
No worries. Well, if you were looking at changing your cereal, unsweetened almond milks actually do have less carbs, than cow milk. A lot of people don't realise, but depending on your taste and preference as well, that's just a recommendation. Based on healthier yogurt options, so 12 grams of sugar per 100 grams is actually more beneficial. So depending on the yogurt you're having at the moment, it would be important to check the nutritional label, because obviously every different yogurts have different contents as well. Now for your whole grain, so any whole grains rich in fibres, rich in vitamins, fibres, minerals such as oats, brown rice, quinoa are fantastic. So, you know, as a suggestion, you're having wraps sometimes with chicken. You could introduce this by changing chicken wraps to maybe a salad with quinoa, and you could add more vegetables as well, which would provide more energy intake during the day. Beans are also a great source of fibre. They will also raise blood sugar levels slowly, which is really important for your insulin resistance, such as pinto, limo, black beans. Also, just be careful with the black beans. A lot of people are unaware that you should drain and rinse black beans, as they can be high in sodium, so just to make sure they're rinsed properly. Now with your poultry, if cooking chicken, do you cook chicken much, or would you generally buy chicken pre-made on wraps and things?
I cook it less these days.
Less, yeah, no, not a problem. I was just going to mention, if you do cook chicken, to remove the skin, as this actually does have much more fat than the meat. A lot of people don't realise the skin is actually higher in fat content. Now, other meats should be lean. Do you consume any red meats or not generally?
No, I don't eat a lot of red meat.
Sure, no worries. I was going to suggest, so obviously if consuming meats, they should be lean to provide adequate protein levels. Now, if snacking, excuse me, so nuts and seeds, as we mentioned earlier, will also slow down your digestion, which is really, really important for anyone going through a weight loss goal, wanting more energy, and just provide a healthier lifestyle in general. They do provide essential fatty acids, which are really, really important. So, one seed butters. Now, with your, I forgot to mention, so with your sandwiches or wraps, do you use normal butter, or do you use a certain spread?
The Nuttelex.
Fantastic, that's great. I was about to suggest here, so one seed butters such as Nuttelex, fantastic, offer healthy fats, magnesium and fibre, which is really good for weight loss and eating a bit more healthier as well. So avocados and olives are also a really good source of essential fatty acids as well to add to your diet. But if not carefully portioned, they're also high in calories, so just to be careful with that. Okay, so that's fantastic. Now, Catherine, I've gone through a lot of my recommendations here and my advice on nutritional intake to assist with your diet. So hopefully that has helped you in providing some ideas and some recommendations for you to assist with your goal. I understand it's not an easy process, but at this point in time, do you have any questions for me that you're not too sure on, or do you need any clarification on the key messages that we have discussed?
It all seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I can't say I have questions.
Yeah, not a problem.
Maybe something will pop up.
Of course. In regards to your GP, it would be important for me to ask, when did you last see your GP for consultation?
It's been a while. Probably a couple months ago.
A couple of months, yeah. And do you normally see the same GP?
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's just good to make sure that you're comfortable seeing that person.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think from here it would be really, I think it would be a really good start for you to make an appointment. That would be definitely the first step, to speak to your GP, and as I discussed earlier, to check your cholesterol levels. Very, very important. Any diet that has a lot of cholesterol, and because you've got insulin resistance, just to make sure that you're on the right track before you do change any of your diet. I think that's important, because you wouldn't want to change something that you're not comfortable with, and also you need to be ensured that you have the adequate information to be on track as well. Okay, fantastic. So just tracking along with time, Catherine, we are almost finished our consultation, so thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions at this point in time that you can think of to assist with your goal?
So, I mean, I'd like to be able to make sure I do snack.
Yeah.
Is there something that you could recommend that might assist with that?
Definitely. So as mentioned earlier, I think it's really important to add a serving of nuts, which do provide a lot of energy intake. So because of your situation with your goals as well, I think snacking on a serving of nuts, so that could be a mix of macadamias, peanuts, which are fantastic, just to keep in the right serving amount. Even almonds are fantastic. They're good for concentration levels as well. So, you know, if you do night shifts, snacking on almonds actually would be a good increase of energy for you to keep you going. But during the day as well, you mentioned that you don't have a lot of fruit intake. So apart from breakfast, just be careful with the portions of fruit because they are high in sugar if you do have a lot. Natural sugar is good though. What sort of fruits would you generally enjoy and that would you like to introduce to your diet apart from bananas and pears?
I like apples
fantastic.
and mango,
Yep.
watermelon,
Yep.
pretty much anything, grapes.
Wonderful. Well, that's a really good variety, yeah. So with apples, I mean, that's a nice easy snack. So you could eat that on the go. And that's a really simple snack. You don't have to cut it up. Apples do have a lot of vitamin C. So they do contain insoluble fibre, which has a bulk in the intestinal tract as well, which is really important. So snacking on that during the day would be fantastic. That would provide another serving of fruit for you. So if you only had pears in the morning, I would suggest definitely having at least another 2 servings during the day. Just spread it out as well with water in between. Apples, even a small serving. Actually, watermelon would be fantastic for you because watermelon has high intake of water. Fantastic. So especially with summer coming up, it would cool you down. It's got a nice taste to it. Snacking on that as a snack, that could be a nice treat as well. So late at night, if you do feel like something sugary, just get a small serving of watermelon and I think that would be a really good start for you. So also muesli bars, just be careful. They do have a lot of fat content and sometimes are high in sodium. Muesli bars, if you do find the right ones, if they do have a 5-star rating, are really, really good for weight loss as well. They do provide a lot of protein. So just have a look to see, if you do like muesli bars, to see what's out there, and your dietitian might be able to provide some better advice on that as well. To also ensure that based on the calorie intake, based on the Eat for Health website, for anyone who's wanting to lose weight in that healthy frame for women, the intake of obviously being 1,500 calories in total. So just to keep track of that on a phone app would be really ideal, and just to ensure that you have the right amount of calories to keep you going during the day. And I think that would really help you with a good start to ensure that you're on the right track as well, to have the energy to keep you going. So as we mentioned, snacking I think would be a really good start for you to keep that going. Also water. Notice that your glass is actually getting a little bit empty. Would you like a refill?
Oh yes, please.
Not a problem, no worries. Yeah, sometimes it gets hard if you're busy. Sometimes I also set reminders on my phone just to drink water actually, which also helps me as well, especially during hotter weather periods. It's important just to keep your body hydrated. So sometimes in the morning as well, when you wake up, it's always good to have, half a glass or even a glass of water just to start your day. And that might be a good strategy for you as well, to fill you up before you have breakfast. So to find something that works for you to keep you going for longer. So, now that you're having cereal every morning, which is fantastic, you're having the Sultana brand, depending on what your doctor suggests and what the dietitian provides you, it might also be good for you to maybe switch to something like oats or something to keep you fuller for longer. But obviously you need to find what you enjoy, and everyone's different, so it all comes down to personal preferences as well, I think. So I hope that answers your question. But I think definitely with your current routine, I think it's important to have snacks on you at all time to ensure that you have the right insulin resistant levels to keep you going. And this will also be, I think, an easy method of having snacks on you, so you don't have those cravings. So there's something in your bag at all times, whether that's a small muesli bar, an apple, just something there to keep you going. Also a water bottle. Do you tend to carry water with you when you're out? Or?
I do, yeah.
Fantastic, that's really good. So to ensure that you do have the right amounts of water, sometimes it's hard when you go out, but I think having a water bottle is really good, even if you're in the car. It sounds like with your job you do a lot of driving as well. So in saying that, hopefully I've provided you with some nutritional advice that you can take on board, and some goals as well. Now just focusing on questions which we have covered. So with your doctor, and you can speak to your doctor about that. Now, after you've spoken to your doctor as well, your doctor may refer you to a nutrition. I can't say what your doctor's going to do because your doctor knows you better than I do, obviously. Your doctor may refer you to a dietitian, and if he does, that's fantastic, and your dietitian may consult with me. So maybe say a month from now, we could get in contact and to discuss goals from there. So if you do need further clarification, if you would like some more advice on nutrition or information, I'd be more than happy to assist where I can. Fantastic. Okay, now before you leave, thank you so much for your time. I do have a client evaluation form here, so if you have a couple minutes spare to assist me with that, that would be fantastic.
Yes.
Wonderful. So I'll just show you what we have here. So just to go through some information, it's basically just asking, you know, if I provided the advice to assist you with your goals, and I provided any questions based on the information. So if you wouldn't mind filling that out for me, that would be really, really appreciated.
No
Thank you
worries.
so much, Catherine. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.